want to talk to you about the Netflix hit series Wednesday, based on the character from the Addams Family. Now, warning, there will be spoilers, but not too many, because what I want to talk about is not so much the plot, but rather I want to look at her character arc, those moments in a story that cause characters to change and grow. And it's an arc that brings her face to face with a demon she has dreaded for most of her life, expressing her emotions. Come with me. When last seen on television in the 1960s, Wednesday was a precocious 8-year-old. In her return to television, Wednesday is now 16 years old and has been shipped off to a boarding school for supernatural outcasts. So, based on her age and the separation from her family, you could say this series is a coming-of-age arc. This is where a character transitions from the innocence of childhood to dealing with things on an adult level. The first time we see Wednesday in the story, she is at a normal school where she rescues her brother Pugsley, who has been tied up and trapped in a school locker. He falls out to the floor and starts crying. The only words for her brother are,
"Pugsley, emotion equals weakness. Pull yourself together. Now."
as if not caring about the event. However, when she discovers who the attackers are, Wednesday exacts revenge. Now, as an audience, we are meant to believe that she is emotionless because of a violent, uncaring act. But was she uncaring? Desire for revenge is usually an emotional decision, and it was driven by an attack on a family member. But it's this revenge that leads her to be banished to Nevermore boarding school. Shortly after Wednesday arrives at the school, the main plot of the series is revealed. A number of gruesome murders are taking place with signs of a supernatural cause. And since this is a Tim Burton production, the coming-of-age story has also become a coming-of-death story. And Wednesday's character arc lands right in the middle of it. Now, along for the ride is Thing. He has been secretly left behind by Wednesday's parents. Coming from a long line of servants to the Addams, he has been her longtime right-hand companion. The one who can push her buttons, who has his finger on the Well, at first annoyed, Wednesday employs him in her investigations of the murders. In the coming-of-age arc, the plot often deals with the realities of life on an emotional level. So at the boarding school, this comes into play as Wednesday becomes a hub at the center of three characters' lives. Two boys, Xavier and Tyler, form the expected love triangle as they vie for the attention of Wednesday. But the third is a girl, Enid, who is hell-bent on winning over Wednesday as a friend, almost to the point of gleeful obsession.
Howdy, Rumi.
Wednesday, this is Enid Sinclair.
Welcome to Ophelia Hall. Not a hugger. Got it.
With the pieces in place, most audiences tend to expect the development of romantic interests to be the common trope at the center of the coming-of-age story. This skewed triangle and open-ended conclusion to the series prompted a number of fan comments that have focused on the love triangle and the who will she wind up with. This has extended to include suggesting a romantic connection to her friend Enid, or the fact that Wednesday might be asexual. But why does she have to wind up with anyone? Or be portrayed as asexual just because she might not choose any of the above? And it's here that I see the writers take full advantage of those expectations, using the romance angle as a MacGuffin to manipulate the audience. And what I see being missed is the straightforward fact that by focusing on the will she or won't she aspect, an important part of the character arc is lost. The coming-of-age cliche of love and romance is just a well-executed plot misdirection. In the story, Almost every time one of the boys seems to have her romantic attention, these moments are often thwarted by a plot conflict that changes the direction of the story, but not the character arc. But every time we see Wednesday and Enid, even though Enid's colorful disposition and Wednesday's black and white reality seem to clash, little by little, we see true acts of friendship from Wednesday. But Wednesday doesn't realize how far the friendship has come until Wednesday puts Enid's life in real jeopardy, almost getting her killed.
You okay?
Since when do you care?
This reality of endangerment becomes more devastating than any romantic plot twist that could have occurred with either Xavier or Tyler. So this is where you might say, aha, that means there is something more. This is where the writers remind you of the friendship of Wednesday and Thing. Near the end of the series, Thing is almost killed due to Wednesday's recklessness, just like Enid. He has been in Wednesday's life for a long time, and this story established there is a strong bond between the two of them. And as he appears to die, Wednesday does something she'd only done once as a little girl. She cries. She reveals her emotions. Her transformation from child to adult isn't romance. It's the coming-of-age realization that she misunderstood her emotional act as a child and shut herself off. This adds a resoluteness to Wednesday's actions as she faces the reality of the gruesome situations that are unfolding around her. Wednesday's arc is the fact that ultimately the emotions of friends and family are not a weakness but a strength. As the story comes to its peak, and in true horror fashion, both Enid and Wednesday think the other has died. And when they finally find each other, Enid runs to her friend Wednesday and hugs her. Wednesday now has the realization she almost lost 2 friends in these events, and she gives Enid the one thing that this arc has been marching to all along. Wednesday hugs back. And that's all that's needed. The arc has come from emotions or weakness to tears and a hug. 2 simple gestures that in this case were more powerful than the misdirection of a potential kiss. And it's a character arc that adds an extra dimension for future stories. So on to season 2.